What is up YouTube, and welcome back to another sewing project here on my channel. If you know me, I really love long sleeves, like there's nothing better than a long sleeve. But what I realized lately is that I literally don't have like any basics. I mean, not only long sleeves, I don't have a lot of basic t-shirts. I don't have a lot of basics. That's all I'm saying. And in today's video I want to kind of fill that gap in my wardrobe and make some basic long sleeves. But before y'all click away from the video, it won't be boring. They won't be this complete basic long sleeve. I still want to add some light customizations to them to have like this elevated basic long sleeve. The video should be really interesting, and I still want to explain a little more than I usually do, just so you could maybe follow along if you want to, because I think especially for beginners a long sleeve is like your perfect sewing project. And by the way guys, this is also super cost efficient because I got like 4 long sleeves worth of fabric for like 60 euros, which is like 15 euros per long sleeve, so super worth it in my opinion. And as always, you know, it's the boring ass part. I already cut out all of the pattern pieces, so you don't have to watch me do it. But let me show you guys the fabrics real quick. We got this kind of waffle, it's going to be waffle long sleeves, and for the white fabric we got this super tiny waffle knit. I think I don't know if you can tell on camera, but it's like really subtle waffle and really firm and tight. Then of course, if we're talking about basic, I also need a black one, and this waffle knit is a little bit different. It's a little bigger and also kind of like more flowy, I would say. But then I also wanted to have some color, and that's why I chose this kind of sky blue fabric for the next one. And this one, just like the black one, is a little bit more kind of loose or bigger of a grid, and the texture also kind of feels different, if that makes sense. And last but not least, we got this beautiful burgundy red right here, and this I think is the same as the sky blue one. It has literally the exact same texture and also looks the same. And by the way, the reason why they all feel different or all have kind of like a different texture is because they are dead stock fabrics from my kind of local fabric store. We're also doing something good for the environment in this video, literally only W's today. But yeah, what do you actually need to assemble a long sleeve? Let me show you guys. We have first of all the back panel right here, and you can tell that this is the back panel by kind of like the smaller neckline right here. Next up we have the front panel with, as you would guess, the kind of like wider neckline or neck hole. And then we of course also have the sleeves, which are like 2 identical pieces. Looks like this with this little like curve that will match like the armhole curve. And this is basically all that we need to make a long sleeve. We then of course also have like a neckline, and for this I'm using this, I think it's 2x1 rib knit. You technically don't need to use a rib knit, and you could literally use like the same waffle fabric that you use for the main piece. From my experience, if you want to get like a really nice and tight sitting neckband, you have to like make it shorter than the length you actually need. And this is why rib knit is so stretchy, so that you can like stretch it more, and the main fabric that you're using is usually not kind of like stretchy enough. The only real problem you're facing, however, is that most of the times you won't find the exact same color for your main fabric. And for white and black, of course, that's not a problem. I mean, everyone has white and black, but for the blue, for example, I need to use this one because I couldn't find kind of like any closer matching rib knit, and it's quite a huge color difference. Alright, but that's enough yapping for the intro. I think I explained everything. My sewing machine already has the white thread in it, so I think I will start with the white long sleeve. And in step number 1, we want to connect the front and the back panel, which basically means connecting the front and the back panel on the shoulders right here, as well as the side seams. To do this, we want to take the front or back panel, it doesn't really matter, right side facing up, and then we can just lay the other panel on top like this with the right side facing down, which then of course means that we have the right sides facing kind of inwards and facing each other. And what we're then doing is basically sewing this seam right here, these 2 shoulder seams, as well as the other side seam right there. So I'm just going to start with this side seam right here, and I'm using these kind of fabric clips to hold it in place, and then we're taking it to the sewing machine. once we got all of the 4 seams done, we want to immediately overlock them. Now I personally don't have like an overlock machine, so I'm just using a regular zigzag stitch. Essentially works the same, but just does not look as clean as an overlock stitch. But since it's like a piece for myself only, I do not mind at all. So yeah, as I said, I'm basically taking all of the 4 seams that I just did, and I'm going to kind of like zigzag stitch the edges so they don't kind of like fray and distress. Alright, so now we have this huge seam allowance that if we would kind of turn this inside out, you see it will be like kind of like poking your body. It's not really comfortable, and that's why we definitely want to iron it down and also want to top stitch it down so it stays flat. And as far as I know, the industry standard is to have the seam allowance folded to the back, like towards the back panel. But to be honest, I don't think it does make a huge difference at all, so you can literally just do whatever you think looks best. And then we can kind of top stitch along this line right here, but we definitely want to make sure that we hit the seam allowance so it stays in place. And now we already have this kind of like sleeveless vest style, which is the main body piece of the long sleeve. And even though it means that I have to change my sewing thread a bunch of times, I want to kind of work in bulk a little here. So instead of completely finishing the white long sleeve, then the black, then the red, then the blue, I'm basically completing the main body piece for all of the colorways. Then I'm moving on to the sleeves. Then I'm moving on to kind of the neckband and the finishing. And I think this way I can save a bunch of time because it's just so much more effective for the mindset, in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, let me know in the comments if you work on such projects. Do you do like one by one and complete one after the other? Or do you also like to work in kind of bulk and complete like single steps for all of the pieces and then move on? Let me know. But as I said, me personally, I like to work in bulk. So let's get the main body piece done for all of the colorways. Let's roll it. Alright y'all, it is already dark as f outside. I mean, it's only like 6 p.m, but it's really gotten dark outside and I didn't expect this project to take this long. I gotta be honest with y'all. But yeah, so basically now I have the main body piece of all of the kind of colorways. And we still need to do the sleeves, we still need to do the neckband and kind of the hems. And I have to be honest with you, I thought I could finish all of the 4 long sleeves today. But I mean, yeah, looking at it now, I think I will definitely need tomorrow as well. Nonetheless, it's only 6 p.m. I'm gonna take a quick break, maybe eat something, grab my light so you can actually see shit, and then we're getting to the sleeves. Alright, first step in making the sleeves. We got 2 separate pieces, of course, but they won't be connected to each other. We're just gonna take one piece at a time. And with the right side up, we're then just basically gonna fold it over like this, so we have once again right sides together on the inside. And then we can just pin this down and sew it down. And of course, for the second sleeve, it's the exact same process, just like this. Now let's take him to the sewing machine. So after making the seam, I'm of course overlocking the raw edges. It's basically the same process as with the main body. And now we can kind of make the choice if we do want to top stitch as well. I think most like industry standard pieces do not have top stitching on the sleeves, and usually you would only see top stitching on the shoulders, the side seams, and maybe even the armhole seams, but definitely not on the sleeves. To be honest, I like how it looks, so that's why I'm also adding top stitching to the sleeves. But with this being said, let's iron it down real quick and get to the sewing machine again. Alright, so for the hems on the sleeves as well as the bottom, you would usually see a single fold hem, which is basically just the overlocked edge and then folded over once. I mean, you could actually see it on my long sleeve right here. This is basically how it looks, but I want to add some more customizations later. We will get to this, and for this reason I actually want to do a double fold hem so that we have 3 layers of fabric instead of 2, which makes it like more thick. And since I only need it at the sleeves, I will only add it to the sleeves, and for the bottom hem we will do like your regular single fold hem. So for the sleeves, what we want to do is fold over once like this, and we can actually use like this little sleeve ironing board to help us here. Fold it over like this, and then we can iron it down. And what we can do then is just fold it one more time, so we got the double folded hem, and then we can just pin it in place to secure it. And now we can take it to the sewing machine. Sleeves are done. Now we of course need to attach them to the body piece, but to be honest, looking at the top stitching on the sleeves right now, I actually don't like how they look. I don't know, I thought I did it on other long sleeves before, but looking at it now, it kind of looks weird. So I did it for the red one now, of course, but I won't be actually doing the top stitching on the sleeves for the other 3 colorways. But as I said, when it comes to top stitching, it of course adds like a little bit more stability and makes it smoother, but at the end of the day, you can just do however you like the look of it. But now we of course need to attach the sleeves to the bodice piece, and how we're doing this is pretty simple. We're taking the sleeves with the right sides on the outside, and then we're turning the bodice piece inside out so that the right side is on the inside. And what we're then doing is basically just putting the sleeve in like this, basically just stuff it in there and kind of clip it together as always. And with this we then have like the right sides facing. As always, you know the deal, whenever you're sewing, 90% of the time you want to have the right sides facing. You know the deal, once the seam is done, we're also finishing it with the zigzag stitch, or of course if you have an overlock, go ahead and use that shit. Alright, so it is currently day 3, and as I already said, I expected to finish this project in 1 day. But nonetheless, it is currently day 3 of me working on the project, and we're definitely gonna finish it today. I mean, we already got basically the complete main body. All we're missing is the collar. And yesterday in the evening, when it was already late, I also finished the bottom hem off camera. As I already said, nothing too special, it's just this single fold hem. So now we can get to the neckband, and for my pattern of my fabric, I'm using a piece which is 46 by 6 centimeters. And those measurements heavily depend on how First of all, how stretchy your fabric is or your ribbing, and second of all, of course, how big your kind of neck hole in your pattern is. And what I figured out really helps is just making a bunch of test pieces, seeing if you can get it over your head, or maybe even make kind of like a mock neck for a t-shirt and try the whole process out. And the first step that we need to do is sew along this top line right here, so we have the ends connected, and we then basically have this like circle. And what we then want to do is basically just iron down this seam right here so that it's completely flat, and this just helps with avoiding bulk. And what we then need to do to basically have the collar itself is just like fold it over like this. And what always helps is also quickly ironing this down just so that it stays in place. All right, so in order to attach the neckband, as you can see, by the way, this is a really big color difference and it doesn't look too nice, but I'm just gonna go with it now. But what we want to do, or what helps, is kind of mark the kind of halfway point. So we have like a mark on this side and a mark on the other side, and for the neckline we also have the same points up here and down there. And what we can then do is just start with one point right here, and what we then want to do is take the opposite side. And just remember, the neckband and your neckline should not, or are most likely not, the same length, and this is because we really want to kind of stretch the neckband. And this also means that when pinning it down, you don't want to kind of like pin the exact positions or pin it real tight, but you just want to have some kind of loose pinning points so you get a rough idea. As you can see, we got like the halfway points here, and then in between I also placed like 2 clips, and this should be totally enough. The distances in between the clips we just need to stretch out a little bit, and that's why ribbing is so stretchy. So let's take it to the sewing machine and actually complete it. And the final step for the neckband, which is by the way not super necessary, but I would highly recommend you doing this, is to first of all iron down the neckband and then also add a little top stitch. So yeah, to make sewing for this easier, we definitely want to just iron it down quickly so that it sits flat. And with this we have the basic long sleeve done, but of course 3 colorways to go. And I'm also gonna add some more customization to the pieces so that it's not going to stay super basic, but it's also not too crazy. But yeah, we'll see. Let's first finish the other 3 colorways. Let's get it. Alright, so we're essentially done with the basic long sleeve, but as I said earlier, I still want to customize them a little bit. And the first thing that I want to do is adding some studs on the sleeves, and that's also why I made like the double folded hem instead of the single folded hem. As you can see, I got these gold studs here as well as these silver studs. I think I'm doing silver for the white one and the black one, and gold for the red one, and maybe also gold for the blue one, but maybe also silver for the blue one, since it's like cold and silver looks best on like colder colors. I already marked out where I want the studs to be. And first up, to get the studs in, we of course need to make some holes in this, where I have these like hole pliers right here. Literally press down and it should kind of like snap, and there we got the hole. Do this for all the marked spots, of course. Next up, we want to take the bottom piece, which is like the longer piece, and basically just stick it in this hole, no diddy. And then we can just take the top piece and kind of clip them together. And now all that's left to do is to basically press it down. For this process, I got this basic hand press, which is super annoying to do. And with this, you basically press the 2 heads of the studs together and kind of lock them. One thing that I forgot, but it's definitely something that you can do or even want to do, is adding some glues to the holes just so that the fabric is also attached to the stud itself. And for this I'm using like a gemstone glue, which is used to glue gemstones onto fabric. Of course it's waterproof and therefore washable and shouldn't kind of loosen in the washing machine. And this, by the way, is also a great way to customize pieces that you already own and kind of spice them up a little if you wish to. This press was literally like 50 euros and a pack of studs is like, I don't know, 10-14 euros. But I'm pretty sure you could even get cheaper ones off Amazon. Alright, so I got all of the studs in. We got a little difference here. I experimented with the count of the studs a little bit. For this white version we have, I think, yeah, it should be 4. For the red one I then went a little bit crazy and this should be around 8, so basically double. Then for the blue one I think I did also do 4. And then for the black one, and this is actually my personal favorite, I then did 5, which is just a little bit more than the white one, but it's not too much. And I think for those sleeves, like with those measurements, 5 really are the sweet spot, and I like it so much on the black one. But there's one last step before we actually finish with all of those pieces, and what I'm talking about is distressing. Now I don't want to go crazy, I definitely don't want to go crazy with distressing, and that's why I'm just using this little like block of sandpaper instead of a Dremel. So as you can see on the neckline we have this really subtle 2 points of distressing, and then we have like a tiny bit on the sleeves right here, just a little bit, nothing too crazy, but I think this just adds a little detail. And yeah, that's literally all the distressing that we're doing. One thing that I didn't mention is that I actually sewn on my tags at the bottom right here. But yeah, with this, those 4 long sleeves really come together. And I think it's finally time to check out the fit, check out the colorways with the studs, and just see how they look on body. So let's get into it. Alright, so my room is kind of a work in progress mess right now, but I found this angle right here, and I think this should not stop us from finally trying on the long sleeves, seeing how they fit. Let's just get started, man, enough talking. Right, so first up we of course have the white colorway. Absolutely beautiful in my opinion, and I think, not sure if it's my favorite, but I really like this one. I mean, you just absolutely need to have a basic white long sleeve in your wardrobe, but to be honest, this kind of elevated one, oof, I think it's just absolutely perfect. Got this like boxy fit, as you can see. The studs are such a good detail, and I also really like those subtle distressings. And by the way, this was also literally my first time working with rib knit instead of just the main fabric, and it went super smooth. It's just like a perfect sitting neckline. It's not too loose, it's not too tight. Absolutely beautiful. Got this beautiful sleeve right here, as well as the neckline right here. Damn. Right, so moving on, we got the black colorway. The black fabric itself is a little bit heavier and has like a different feel to it. I mean, once again, fit is the same. I think it looks absolutely dope. And what I especially like about the black colorway is the studs, because I have one more stud than on the white one. And I think this is literally the perfect distribution of studs for the sleeve. And of course, we also got a little distressing going on. Alright, so next up we got the burgundy red version right here. The fabric is a little bit lighter, but it's super comfortable to wear. The only slight issue that we have with the red colorway right here is that of course the neck ribbing doesn't match perfectly, and for this colorway I also decided to go with gold studs and also use a little bit more. And I don't know, I mean, let me know your guys' opinions in the comments, but I think, as I said before, the 5 studs that I had on the black version are definitely my favorite. This right here looks super dope, but to be honest, for like the basic long sleeve that it should be, I think it is like a little bit too much. But yeah, nonetheless, I also really like the red colorway. And to finish this lineup, we then of course also have the beautiful sky blue. For this one, I also used 4 studs, just like on the white one, and I also really love this colorway. The only thing that really bothers me, however, is literally the neckline. It's just too big of a color difference, and I just think that it takes too much away from the long sleeve being like a basic long sleeve, and it makes the piece, I don't know, just a little playful. But yeah, I mean, if I would ever release something like this with the brand and we had like the matching neckband, absolutely beautiful colorway. and I really love this one as well. Alright guys, this is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching it all the way through. Thank you so much for supporting my channel. I really have grown a lot lately, which I'm super thankful for. And this whole YouTube thing is just really fun to me. I really like making these videos. And yeah, I mean, let me know your guys' opinions on those 4 long sleeves in the comments. Just give me your little ranking, which one is your favorite and your least favorite. And I mean, me personally, I would say white one, black one, red one, and then the blue one. I think that's literally how I showed them as well. But yeah, let me know your guys' ranking in the comments, and I'ma see you in the next one. I'm out.